Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SteelFlyers All Sports Network Show, and we have got a very, very special guest here sitting in. That's right, folks, 5-star matchup!
Hey, man, thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to talk again. I love the last time we did these, and excited to get into the draft a little bit.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do, folks. We're going to bring you a little draft preview about the Pittsburgh Steelers, as that's being our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers, as we both bleed black and gold quite extensively, I would think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, you could tell I'm literally wearing a jersey in April for this.
I got my Hall of Fame shirt on. Yeah. All right. So we're set.
I had to buy a 19 after my guy Juju decided to stay. I was so moved by that. I really was. Like, yes. I really was just like, I love it. And yes. So literally that day I ordered this.
That's cool, because that's one of the things too, is we're really glad that he re-signed, because I believe that gives them that Hines Ward 2.0 type of possession receiver that they're really going to need. You know,
he's somehow become an underrated player.
Agreed.
Which is surprising for a guy who was so good immediately. He's still like 23.
All right, cool. We'll take that. Yeah, right. Yeah. But we're not actually talking about the guys that are currently on the team. We're talking about the guys that potentially could be on this team come Thursday night in Cleveland. Yes. And I'll tell you what, there is quite a plethora of players available for the Steelers here in this draft. The Steelers are currently right now slotted to pick at number 24.
They are.
Okay. And whether or not they stay there or they move back or they move, forward, I have no clue. I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything. I haven't seen anything. I know there's been some movement with some other teams, Baltimore, Kansas City.
I think they've thrown it out there that they're open to considering a move back, and I think Colbert specifically said he sees it as very unlikely that they would move forward, and I think that that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
Although to the people that want them to move back, I would just say he's only ever done that once, and that was for Casey Hampton in like 2000 or 2001. So I don't think I think they're gonna pick a player at 24. That would be my guess.
Yeah, because that would be the best case scenario for the Steelers, is to picked at their 24th spot.
Yeah, I mean, or like the thing is, if everybody that you're interested in, here's the thing, is if everybody you're interested in is, gone, and you get an opportunity to switch with, say, Buffalo or Green Bay and pick up like an extra third rounder, would you think about that? Have an extra pick in the top 100, move back 5-6 spots?
Because Pittsburgh has 7 picks this year.
8, I think.
8, yeah. Okay.
So but you would get an extra one in the top 100, which is...
No. Yeah, much better odds. Yeah. When you start getting guys from within at least the top, I would say the top 50 guys, those are the ones where you're going to get the hits on. You know what I mean? Because those top 50 guys are, the entire second round or most of the second round. You know what I mean? And then you got some guys littered in there that are, sporadic third, fourth round.
It's tougher to know what to expect after that point.
Exactly. So I'm going to throw it out there to you. Okay. So you are Kevin Colbert.
Yes.
You're Mike Tomlin. You're all rolled up into one thing. You're standing there on the phone, and the commissioner calls you and says, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock.
Yes.
Who are you picking? Pick number 24.
With the 24th pick.
With the 24th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers
in the NFL
select.
draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Najee Harris, running back. Look, here's my explanation. Okay, I understand the trepidation that a lot of people have about taking a running back in the first round because, it's He's probably not going to get a second deal. He could get injured. The drop off is, you could get a guy in the 3rd round, the 4th round, etc. Okay. And to that I say, look at all the bitching I've seen on social media about Benny Snell and James Conner and all the other mid-round, Jalen Samuels, all the other mid-round backs that we've had in the last couple of years. And I just say, if you have an opportunity to get a guy who's a real workhorse type guy, and you deem him as a Pro Bowl caliber running back that can take some pressure off of your 39-year-old quarterback, I'm taking it. Point blank, if he is on the board at 24, I would be stunned, absolutely stunned, if they did not pick him.
See, I had him selected a little sooner.
That's possible.
In my mock draft that I did, I had him going a little bit sooner and not necessarily being available there for the Steelers at that point. And based off of what Colbert said in the conference, the news conference the other day, that they would, if they have and I know that they're specifically saying this about specific players that have opted out of the 2020 season due to COVID, that they would much prefer to not select a player.
Yeah, I think what he meant was that if it was close between two guys, we'd probably be more likely to go with the guy who did, which, I mean, what's the scenario where that's going to happen, where there's very specifically two players? I just don't see that as that important of a tidbit,
Okay, I'm with you. But, all right, I see why you're saying that. Okay, I do see why you're saying that.
So your feeling with that pick is you'd rather go with a center for the first pick or a tackle?
Or yeah. I've been really, really, really impressed with a couple of guys here that are, big dudes that could either play interior line and or tackle and or, you know what I mean? Just they're kind of,
Sure.
what I'm saying? I like this Christian Darrisaw. I really like this guy.
Yeah.
He's a big body. He's a people stopper.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And with the loss of Pouncey and potentially the loss of DeCastro, I really look. You and I both agreed that we both like Dotson, and we both thought that was a great pick last year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been excellent.
Exactly.
He's a starter. He's a starter at guard for the next 10 years on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would bet a lot of money on that. Yeah.
And I would not have an issue with that at all. Right. Heck of a player. Really like his game. Yep. Picks it up fast. Has good feet. You know what I mean? That's good for a guard. Okay.
Yeah.
I really like Chucks as the other tackle. I think he has come into his own. We're getting Zach Banner back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with the offensive line for me is so the reason that I find myself in the running back camp and I wasn't initially it wasn't something that I always thought, but the further we got down the draft, rabbit hole, I guess, I started to think to myself, I think they're going to stick with the two tackles that they have. I think Tomlin is personally invested in Banner. I think he said as much last year that Tomlin told him going into last year, like, "Oh, you're my answer."
Well, yeah, because they signed him to an extension. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and he's a big dude, and I think I think that I have no reason to believe he can't be a decent right tackle, and DeCastro is gonna play his position. Hopefully, he was down last year because he was hurt, because he did get hurt early, and I felt like that impacted him.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna just sell an all pro up the river for one bad year. I was ready to get rid of Pouncey anyway, frankly, because I thought he was terrible the last 2 years. So him, I just thought age caught up and wear and tear
and injuries and yeah.
And I was never that big of a Pouncey guy. My uncle's rolling over in his grave right now for me saying that, but I just was never. I never thought he was as bad as Pro Football Focus made him out to be, but I never thought he was as good as Steelers fans made him out to be. I thought he was somewhere in the middle. Like I thought he was like a at his peak, like a 5, 6, 7, 8th best center in the league. I never thought he was as good as people thought he was.
I'll tell you what. Now, I played that position.
Did you?
Yes.
That's
for
awesome.
many years. And then I played on defense. I played the exact opposite. I played nose tackle.
Oh wow. Okay.
So not only did I know how to hike the ball, and I played, I hiked the ball all the way for the punts and for the kickoffs and all that stuff. So
Could you get it
yeah,
40 feet over the 6'5" quarterback's head to open a playoff game?
never once did I ever do that. Never once.
I'm still
I
so
know when
frustrated.
we tweeted that, and then I said, "Yo, ask the guy in Baltimore because he did the same thing."
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm still so mad about that.
Oh my gosh! Oh man! When that happened, I
You
had.
just knew. It's just
Oh yeah, it was
that
like, all
when
right.
that's the first play of the game, you're like, it doesn't even matter what happens the rest of the year.
What was it? Super Bowl 51 or Super Bowl something where it was Peyton Manning against the Seahawks, Denver against Seahawks. And they were in the end zone, and the ball flew over his head. I was like, "Well, that's gonna be a Seattle game."
Yep. Yeah, you just can tell when stuff like football's a funny game like that, man.
No. I'm
Um,
with you. But no, look, in all reality, though, you have a great argument as to why you would want to pick a running back. I think McFarland, I think Snell, I think even with Connor going to Arizona, I think that's going to open things up even more for the running back room than we already have. I'm not saying that we shouldn't get a running back. I just don't think we should do it in the first round.
I mean, here's the thing: is earlier in the draft process, it looked like Javonte Williams might be available at 55 in their second pick, and at that point, I was like, oh, maybe that's the smart play there. Maybe you wait till the second pick, but it's looking like most people consider him in that same class with Najee and Travis Etienne.
Okay.
And so I don't think he's getting to 55. So then you're going to be with that next tier, which is like the other guy from North Carolina. And then you're like looking at like Trey Sermon and these guys.
Yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell, I know, is another one. And like those guys, I think are maybe quality players, but I think you need a real player there. And to me, I see those top three. You know, I was bigger on ETN early on because I would love for them to get a home run hitter. And I just think they haven't really had that in a while. But I think Najee is the guy. I mean, it's literally it's eye test. Like I look at him and I'm like, I want that guy to be taking some of the hits that Ben Roethlisberger is taking. Like, you know, and if it's, you know, I've seen some people say, oh, like the short career, he's not going to sign a second contract. I don't really care. 5 years is an eternity. If you told me I was going to get 5 years of Le'Veon Bell, sign me up. Sign me up.
Well, that's what we got.
Yeah.
Well, we got what, 4.5 or
well,
whatever.
I wanted more. But...
yeah, well, I would have wanted more too. Yeah.
But you know, I just remember this offense when Ben was able to be more of like a point guard because he had that solid two spot with Le'Veon, yeah, where he was able to just dump it off. Anything that goes wrong, he could just dump it off to Le'Veon, and you'd get something out of nothing. And I think he needs that. I think he needs that.
So riddle me this, Batman.
Yes.
Okay. Supposing we go, I'm going to go way off the deep end here on this one.
Okay.
Okay, way off the deep end, just to see what you think about this. Because honestly, if Parsons is available, that's who I think the Steelers should pick.
Okay.
I don't care about what he sat out with or nothing. I think if Parsons is available, bang, that's who you take.
Yeah.
Without question, without doubt, he should already be on the phone with them.
Yeah, I don't know if he's not gonna be there though. I don't think.
If he is, all right.
Yeah. If he is, yeah. There's certain players where it's like if they're there, you kind of have to.
Right. I'm gonna throw another player at you too now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Owing to the fact that McDonald just retired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we got Ebron, and we're not really sure about our draft pick that we got. What was it, Garrett, that we picked last year?
Gentry.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Gentry.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, we're not really sure about him. What about Pat Fairmouth?
I'd like him if you can get him with your second pick. I don't think it's.
You don't think he's worth a first round?
No, it's not that I don't think he's worth a first round. It's just I think the Steelers are in one of the few situations that they've been in over the last decade where I think they need their first, second, and maybe even third pick to actually contribute. Last year Chase Claypool it worked out. It was beautiful, but it was kind of a luxury pick. Like, they didn't really need to get Chase Claypool. You could have gone into the season with Juju, Deontay, James, and Ebron as your receiving core. And honestly, that's still one of the better receiving cores in the league. But, they had the luxury of taking Claypool because he fell. I don't see this as a draft where they can afford a luxury. And I think, he might be a great tight end and he might pick up after Ebron leaves and be excellent if we were to get him. But I just don't think you can. I don't think you can afford a luxury pick. I think you need, to me, I look at the first round pick. Like, I see maybe 3 options, and this is why I settle on running back. I don't even see a lot of people. Everybody's talking about tackle, and as you talked about, I think we both are higher on our tackles than other people are, because I think I'm good with giving Banner a shot, and I'm good with moving forward with Chooks at left. I mean, I think that's more of a natural position for him, and just by virtue of moving on from Villanueva, who was, excuse me, terrible last year. I just think you're getting hunger into the lineup. You're getting younger and you're getting, more athleticism, and that can only help you. So I don't see tackle as an option personally. I see center as an option.
Yeah.
Running back. And the other one that I think is underrated is I could see cornerback.
Yes.
I'm high on Asante Samuel from Florida State, and I could see that. And in some of those mock draft simulators I've done, I've been able to get him in my second pick, and I'm like, to me, that's my perfect second round pick. But I don't see him making it to that pick in real life. I don't think it's happening.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
No, so to me, I settle on center, running back, or cornerback, and I think that if Najee or Etienne is available, I think you pull the trigger on those guys. Center, I admit, is a huge need, but I think there's a lot in this draft, and they said as much. I think you can get one in the second or third round that can start and be a capable player. And then corner, I mean, I'm open to it. I
could be too.
I'd be kind of surprised if that was,
because that was going to be my next question for you. Was, would you be open to, like, maybe even a Greg Newsome?
Yeah, I'm open.
Or even Asante, what I mean?
Yeah. I like Asante Samuel. And I know they like those NFL bloodlines. That's been a big theme lately, the last several drafts. So, and because I see him as a guy who can play outside, and then you have flexibility with him and Sutton both being able to kind of move inside, and
he's a ball hawk, man. He's a ball hawk, man. I watched some tape on him, man. He's a pretty darn good player.
Losing Hilton is gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be, I love Cam Sutton. I'm very high on Cam Sutton, but I can't discount losing a player like Mike Hilton, man.
Exactly, and then couple that with Nelson too.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings on the Nelson thing. I think
I'm with you.
I think there's a reason they moved on. I think you saw him get targeted a little bit more last year, and
he didn't live up to expectations.
I feel iffy about him as a dude. There's just something. There's something about him that I don't know. There's something that's not quite right about him, because, to me, you look at it on paper, they probably, if they wanted, they probably could have gotten Joe to rework his deal. He's going to be 32. He doesn't want to go anywhere else at this point. He's a Steeler leader at this point.
And he pretty much had the best shot for him is here at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So
he's not going to go be a number one corner probably in most
anywhere.
Other teams. Yeah,
exactly.
And that's not to discount him. It's just that point in your career where, you're more valuable where you are than somewhere else, So yeah, I don't know. I could see corner. I wouldn't be stunned, but I just think if one of those top 3 backs is available, especially Najee or Etienne, I think they're pulling the trigger on that.
Okay, and you don't think they would go like with somebody like a defensive lineman? I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot more lately, especially now. Olahu came back.
Yeah, Alu coming back that helps big time. Yeah, that helps big time.
Okay.
Because I have zero faith in those two youngins who were battling last year. What are their names? One's from, I think, Bama, Carlos Davis, and
Davis, was not very
yeah.
impressed with that rotation. Once you get outside of Allahu and Hayward, then it dropped off significantly.
I was really hoping one of my classic, like, a Steeler who goes somewhere else, gets a big deal and gets cut after a year. I was really hoping the Eagles were going to cut Hargrave because I love Javon Hargrave. I wish he was still on the Steelers.
I'm with you. I really didn't like seeing that to leave. That was,
he had to. I mean, I can't. It was one of those guys where it's like you can't. You got Tuitt and Hayward on the line. You can't afford it. Exactly. So go get paid, brother. But like, I wish he was still here.
I'm with you. But so either way, I think if the Steelers take the best running back available, or the best cornerback available, or the best offensive lineman available, or the best, let's just go down the list and say, well, if you take the best one available in that position, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's, it comes down to, like I said, I think they have to, for once, I mean, they're still going to say they are drafting best player available because it's like a pride thing. And they're always,
that.
I know, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because you can't not say that your board is colored by your needs. It's just inherent.
Come on.
Yeah. And so I think that's silly. I think, I could see them taking a middle backer if the right kind of guy falls to them. I know a lot of people love that hybrid guy from Notre Dame. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Everybody calls him J-O-K.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And like, he's like a safety, like they say he can cover in the slot and stuff like that. If he falls to them, I could see them, pulling the trigger on that. Maybe Collins from Tulsa. Is it Tulsa he went to? Zaven Collins.
Yeah.
I could see that. I think that all of the cornerbacks that they have to be interested in and both of the top running backs that they're interested in have to be gone for that to happen. I really would be. I would be surprised personally.
What's really is really kind of interesting is on the draft, on the list that I'm looking at, they got J.C. Horn ranked number 14th. They got Jeremiah Awasu Koromora.
Yeah, that's why I didn't try.
Right, yeah. And Trayvon Morig.
Yeah, he's a talented player.
Yeah, and I actually was looking at Trayvon Morig too, going, "Well, gosh, man." But
I just don't think.
Ranked, yeah, I don't think he's going to be there.
I don't think they need a safety. I think he'll be there at 24, but I don't think they need a safety.
Okay.
Because I mean, you got Minka forever, and I'm happy. I'm content with Terrell Edmonds.
I wasn't going to talk about Terrell Edmonds. I was thinking maybe he could move
into corner position,
cornerback. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it would be nice to actually see them draft somebody that's taller than 5'9" or 5'8" to play cornerback.
Yeah, well, Justin Lane is.
Okay, but you know what
I know. They've tried that. They've tried that build. I mean, Artie Burns had a good sized build. Like, they just they don't know.
Just didn't have talent.
Yeah, they just don't know what to look for in corners. Honestly, I mean, that's been my whole life. I mean, we've had.
That's not true.
Since Rod Woodson, I mean,
Carnell Lake and Rod Woodson.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you. And then before that, you had. I mean, obviously, you had Donnie Shell. You had.
I'm not disrespect. No disrespect to those guys. I'm just looking at if you look sort of in the say like the Roethlisberger era. I mean,
nobody.
Literally, Joe Hayden is the best cornerback probably that's been on the team since. I mean, I can remember. I mean, Ike Taylor's probably the next best.
Yeah, Ike Taylor. Yeah. Do you remember LaFon Flowers?
Yeah, I remember him. He was more of a safety, I feel like. But
yeah, and
I mean, Deshae was decent when we had our original Super Bowl run.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Willie Gay was like a good
and Clark was a good second to Troy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've not been terrible at safety. Just cornerback has been rough. Yeah. They don't know what to look for.
The fact that we can't name anybody from that era, what does that tell you?
Dude, I mean, I remember circa 2010, 2011. I remember being heartbroken because Keenan Lewis left because I was like, wow, they finally drafted a guy who's not awful. And then,
Or
he went to
or
New
when
Orleans.
I think it was Chris Wood when he
Mhm.
went to the Titans.
Mhm.
I think I can't remember what his last name. His first name was Chris, but I can't.
No, you're talking about Chris Hope,
Chris Hope. That's
another
it.
safety. Yeah,
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 when
yeah.
he went to the Titans, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what are
And
you
then they
doing?
got Ryan Clark right after, and he was
Yeah,
just, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but it's everybody, all the players always think, well, the grass is always greener. Well, sometimes it is, but not always.
I mean, I try not to judge unless they leave in a bad manner because, like, most of the time it's like, go get paid, man. Like, even
Yeah.
Juju this offseason, like, I'm hyped he came back, but I thought he was gonna get paid, man. Like, I'm honestly surprised that no one offered him a real deal, and I think to me, I guess that's probably just a little bit of supply and demand that he plays a plentiful position, and it was this the salary cap was so low this year. Um, I think that affected because I mean he's 23, he's got 4 years of experience. I can't believe somebody didn't sign him for a big deal. I mean,
Well, I did read that he was rumored to have talked to Kansas City, and there was another team that he was rumored to talk to as well, too.
Baltimore.
Oh, was it Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, okay?
But they weren't much bigger offers than what he got with the Steelers.
He's actually getting close to $11 million.
Yeah, and
But he's only counting as 1.6 million towards the cap.
and you know what he makes off the field? That the salary is not even that big of a deal for him.
I get you.
A guy like that, I know what influencers make, and I know what an influencer of his caliber makes. His salary is not even close to his biggest concern. I'm sure of that.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm just shocked from a football standpoint. I've watched the guy his whole career. I think he's I think he's a great player. I'm really very surprised that no one offered him like a 4-year deal. But
well, maybe it was something because of the cap, and maybe it was because of potentially the teams that were looking at him were not able to afford that kind of a cap hit, and therefore he was much better off just staying there with Pittsburgh and allowing them to work the deal that he was able to get. So now maybe next year when fans are more allowed to come to the stands and things are potentially back to normal, maybe and the cap will eventually go back up.
No, he made the smart deal because he'll still be able to, I mean, assuming he stays healthy and on the right trajectory, he'll still be able to get probably 2 big deals because honestly he's still so young that even if he were to get a 4-year deal, he'd only be like 28 at the end of it. And it's not like he's not like he's not like a Julio Jones or somebody where the athleticism is it. He's like closer, like you said, to Hines, where it's like it's more about the ability to play the game,
because he's doing more of the blocking now. He's doing more of the hitting. He's doing more of the what I mean? He's doing more of those little things that world-class receivers do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I look at Hines Ward as a world-class receiver.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, he might not have all the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? But to me, he's if I was having a wide receiver call on my team, one of the wide receivers I'd be calling on my team, aside from Jerry Rice, and Largent, would probably be Hines Ward.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Okay, just because I know that guy's gonna block for me too.
He's gonna be all in 100% of the time. I mean, no, it's I mean, I hope Juju sticks around even beyond this year because I just see that as somebody that you want as part of your culture, and I believe that. Like, he gets a lot of flack for being himself, man, but that's what young people. And I can even say, I mean, I'm pretty young relatively, but like, I'm even like 8 years older than him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's
making you feel old now, huh?
Yeah. He's a kid, man. Yeah. We talk about these people like, I've realized this as I've gotten more mature as a sports fan is like, we have this tendency to put these expectations on people who are 22 years old. Like, I think back to what I was doing when I was 22. I was not managing the expectations of millions of people. Okay. Like,
Exactly.
You know, like
You know what I mean?
that's not that's an you know, it's to me everything about him is great. I think he's a great person. He's got a good family. I hope he sticks around.
I hope he
But
sticks around too, and I like seeing his exuberance. I
yeah,
think
that's fun.
it's
That's the
it
point.
makes it fun.
That's the point.
Yeah,
You're playing a game for a living. Do we have to?
fun.
I hate the oh your nose in the playbook kind of people. I hate that. What's he's supposed to be looking at his playbook 24 hours a day? Like you're
Well,
playing a
no,
game.
you're not supposed to be looking at your playbook 24 hours a day. It's supposed to be in an IV going through your
Yes.
veins
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
That's just a bag you carry around, man. What are you
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. These are people. It's an entertainment product. They're playing a game for a living. Like
Exactly.
let them have fun. You know.
And people forget that.
That guy is having a better life than I am. He's making a lot of money. He's
Well,
having a good time. You know, let him do it.
here's the thing. Just because you're rich in the bank doesn't mean you're not rich in life.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he might be doing his best life, but you're doing your best life too.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying he's gonna be able to stop working at 30 if he wants for the rest of his life, and I've already passed that point.
Okay,
So
yeah, I'm with you. All right. Yeah, I'm with you. Because his bank account is much larger. Yeah, I'm with you.
it's considerably more.
Okay, I get you. Yes. But man, I'll tell you what, this has been so fun. I love when we do this. I love when we agree to disagree. Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole point about this. And it's because we have such passion for this game, and and because we have such passion for this team. And that's what makes it more awesome. You know what I mean? That we can talk passionately and with knowledge. You know? And it comes from the heart and it comes from the head too. You know what I mean? So
no, I know. And I mean it's it's a funny thing. It's like when you're a fan of a team, it's like it's like a I don't want to say toxic relationship, but it's that thing where like you get to the end of the year and unless you win the Super Bowl, it always ends on a disappointing note. And so I always have
toxic. I don't want to care what you say.
I always have this process of like I'm so like I can't even think about it. I can't even look at anything. And then like free agency starts to hit in March, and then they start to talk about the draft, and I'm starting to be like, all right, I'll read a couple tweets. I'll do a couple things, and then just by April, I'm like, all right, is it August yet?
That's how it works. Trust me, I'm with you. Because I started getting the fever now because the draft is coming up here on Thursday now. And it's been a long winter without Steelers football, and we've had a lot of change, and we'll probably get into some of that stuff a little bit down the road. But sure. 5-Star, thank you very much for hopping on here, man. This has been so awesome. Love having you on. How can we find you? How can we get all your great stuff, man? I know you're on the winter hiatus, but man, I'll tell you what, those videos are still so worth watching, man.
I appreciate it. I have a ton of stuff, like top secret stuff that I have in the works for the upcoming season. It's going to be like more content. I don't even want to say anything because it's just going to be awesome. But you could just find me at 5-Star Matchup on Twitter or YouTube. And just follow or subscribe. And I'll be seeing you more in the coming months.
Yeah, man, can't wait, because this guy is the Cats and Jammers right here, man. If you want anything Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the guy you need to be watching because he breaks it down right straight out, no doubt. So be checking this guy out for sure. That. Yeah, man. Thank you very much for watching. This was our talk about the Steelers draft and who we think they're going to draft at pick number 24. So thank you very much for watching. You can check me out on the web at www.steelflyers.com, and you can check me out on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. Thank you, folks, for watching. Just remember, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.